In many textbooks, people would only discuss ontology for social actors. But I think it's also important to discuss ontology for researchers. When describing a herd of elephants, we cannot just describe the biggest elephant, ontology for social actors. We also need to describe the smaller but more angry one. This one is ontology for researchers. Qualitative researchers tend to focus a lot on this part of this graph, on the typology, on the types of pragmatism and constructivism. And why? Because we would say, as qualitative researchers, social reality is a construct. We construct reality, social actors construct reality out there. They create meaning, and this meaning becomes so important that sometimes these meanings are locally accomplished realities, or in this way, in this sense, are versions of a reality out there, but local versions, locally constructed versions. Since the 1930s, we have the famous Thomas theorem. And this famous Thomas theorem says, if men define situations as real, they're real in their consequences, which is a very pragmatist view of social reality, because it doesn't matter whether there's a reality out there, as long as it's usable. And as long as people define it as real, it's real in their consequences. So we do not need to look at whether it's real or not. Now, many qualitative researchers agree with this sentence, because they say what we're studying is how people create reality. However, there's a serious critique on this view. And this serious critique is that if we say that if man defines situations as real and they're real in their consequences, we should also consider ourselves. And this is what people tend to forget. People tend to forget that as researchers, we also define situations as real, and then they're real in their consequences. So if we say social actors construct reality, and we as scientists can simply come and grab them, then we tend to forget that we scientists are part of the social world ourselves as well. And if you tend to forget that, Hammersley and Atkinson would say that you're a naturalist. You believe that you, by participant observation or any other methodology, can grasp a reality out there, pretty unproblematically. So if we make a new graph with new types in there, we still have constructivism, we still have objectivism, but we can say that people that say that they're doing research on the construction of reality or construction of a single reality or a more pragmatist position, they actually tend to view themselves and their own research from a more objectivist point of view. As a researcher, I know how truth works. And what Hammersley and Atkinson suggest is to take a more subtle realist position. So it's not exactly the same as pragmatism, but it's in the same corner where you would say there is a reality, a social reality out there, but this is partly created by you as a researcher, by me as a researcher. We as researchers are part of the social world we study, and we should never forget that. We are also co-constructing by looking at our material, having a certain focus, using certain methodologies. We partly construct the data we are studying. But a subtle realist would say there's still that social phenomena out there. It's not a complete figment of the researcher. There is a reality out there that we study. And I believe this is a pretty sensible way of dealing with both construction as well as reality.